Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my Fable Grounds mug coffee. It comes in pints from the Lord of the Rings. We love it here. It's great. So today's video is going to be my November TBR. It makes me a little sick even saying that right now because I'm not prepared for October to be more than halfway over, and it's insane to me that it's already basically the holiday season. So pushing that existential crisis aside, let's get into the books that I'm planning on reading in November. The first one is, of course, A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I'm going to try to start this in the end of October. It doesn't come out until the 24th, which is this coming Tuesday as I'm filming this. So I'm planning on reading it ASAP, but in theory, I may not get to it or may not be able to finish it until November. I don't know. It was coming out the end of October, so I wasn't sure what TBR to put it on. So we're just going to say it's the November TBR, okay? If I finish it in October, good for me. I would be ecstatic. This is the last book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I am not ready. I'm very excited to read it. I've been looking forward to it since like last summer, but summer 2022. Because I read Ballad of Never After early, so I've been just like desperate for the third book. But it is the end of the trilogy, so while I'm very excited to read it and cannot wait, it's my most anticipated book of the year, I'm gonna be very sad because it's the end of the trilogy, but I believe she's also not coming back, at least for now, to the Caraval universe, which is very sad because it's my favorite series. You know, my shelf over here is all Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I absolutely love the world, and I'm gonna be very sad to leave the world, so it's gonna be a very bittersweet moment for me. If you have not read A Once Upon a Broken Heart, you're following Evangeline Fox, who runs into Jax, who is a fate, which are basically like gods, like Greek gods that just cause havoc. And when you make a deal with them, it's usually never a good thing and always ends up biting off more than you can chew. And she asks him to save her, what she thinks is her true love. And he makes a deal with her, but then chaos ensues, no pun intended. You go from there and she kind of gets tied up with this fate. It's a fantastic, dramatic, whimsical, magical, beautiful book because I love Stephanie Garber's writing. She transports me into this world in a very whimsical, magical way that I can't really describe. It feels like coming home, and it's very cozy and warm. Even though it's like kind of dramatic and gruesome at times, it just makes me so happy. And that's why I love her books. So I'm going to be continuing the story, finishing up the story, hoping for a happy ending, but we'll see. And then the next book that I'm planning on read, which is also a super anticipated release because I read this book also early, did a review of it this year, and then was desperate for book 2, as many of you are, and that is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. So we all read Fourth Wing this year. I read it before it was hyped, as in I got it early from NetGalley as an audiobook, read it, reviewed it, loved it, and then it absolutely blew up. I mean, I think it should have, you know, but it absolutely blew up. It's about dragon riders, a war college for dragon riders. Like, how could that not do well? I love dragons. I'm gonna get a tattoo. My next tattoo is gonna be a dragon. So book 2, there was a massive cliffhanger and I need to know how this is gonna happen. The author has said it's projected to be like a 5 or 6 book series. I have no clue how she's gonna make it that, but I'm very anxious to get more of the story and more of the world and figure out more of the information that we don't have. So I'm desperate for that book. I will read it immediately. I think I actually bought the audiobook. They had this thing that if you pre-ordered the book from Barnes & Noble, I don't know if this happened for everyone. For me, they gave me an offer that if I pre-ordered the physical copy, I could get the audiobook for half off, which made it very affordable. So I went ahead and did that because I loved the audiobook of the first one. So I'm gonna get that release day. So I should be able to read it pretty quickly, but I'm gonna be desperate to read that. And Rebecca Soler is the narrator, and I really like her, and she narrates all of Stephanie Garber's works also, so that'll be a fun little in tandem thing if I can listen to A Curse for True Love. But very anticipated sequels / third books in the series coming out that I have to know what's gonna happen. If you haven't read or haven't heard of Fourth Wing, like I said, it's a war college for dragon riders, and we're following Violet, who is pegged to be a scribe. Like, that's what she's been training for her whole life, because there are 4 quadrants in this war college, and scribes have the history and they write down everything and they know a lot. And she was kind of slated to be that, but then her mom is a general and she said, no daughter of mine is going to do that. So she made her a dragon rider, even though she is chronically ill and can get hurt very easily. So it's kind of an underdog story, and you kind of go from there with unraveling what history has told them, and with a rebellion that was crushed, and then the kids of the rebellion are in this school too, so there's some tension there. There's a lot of stuff going on. It was a very fun ride. I was in it for the dragons. I got my dragons. There's some romance in it that's good. I liked it, but some people don't like that. But there is a romance portion of this book, but the dragons. So I'm anxious to continue that story as well. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Right now she has the Last Hours series, and it is the next installment in the Shadowhunter universe. I am caught up at this point, but I haven't read the Last Hours trilogy, so I've read all of the others. And I've heard that it's in the same kind of realm as the Infernal Devices, as an old-timey England type situation, which that was my favorite trilogy out of all of them. I think that one was, I guess the Mortal Instruments was like 8 books, but whatever. That was my favorite series out of all of them. I think that was like peak Cassandra Clare writing. I think it was amazing. I loved it so much. And then the rest of them were just okay. But so I'm hoping I'm going to really like The Last Hours, and I've kind of been pushing it off. But all 3 books are out now, so I think I'm going to try Chain of Gold. I'm also going to try, because it's on my 23 books to read in 2023 challenge. So Chain of Gold is on deck for that. I don't really know anything about it other than it is the Shadowhunter universe, and it's following the children of the characters we see in the Infernal Devices. That's truly all I know about it. I don't know the plot, nothing. Because I've read all the other Shadowhunter books, then I'm just going to continue this. So sorry if I'm not giving you the synopsis, but if you haven't heard of the Mortal Instruments or the Shadowhunter universe, just look it up. There's tons of stuff, and the reading order is debatable, and there's lots of things going on. So if you're interested, they're demon hunters. And they're half seraphim, so they're like half angel, half human, magical, not really magical powers, but they have heightened abilities for like endurance, strength, all that stuff. They're bred to be warriors, and they fight demons. That's what you need to know. And I don't know why I didn't hold the book up, but Chain of Gold, here it is, love it. And then the next book that I want to read is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I started this, like, the first couple of pages, and I liked it. I really did. I just set it down because I was doing something else and got distracted, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes as a reader. But this is also in my 23 books to read for 2023 challenge. This is the Fairy Loot edition, but I would like to get to this. From what I remember of it, it's similar to an Aladdin retelling where the Stardust Thief is a female, and she has a djinn. I don't know if he's like a bodyguard or just like a partner, but a djinn bodyguard, I believe, that like goes with her and travels with her. And she is recruited to go find a magical lamp with a cowardly prince. And that's kind of all I know, but I've heard pretty good things about this book, and I think it'll be a really fun time. I like the setting. I like that it's kind of like a 1001 Nights retelling. So I'm curious about this. I know people have really liked it, and hopefully I do too. The next one that I think I'm going to also try to read is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I didn't mean to put Cassandra Clare on here twice, but Swordcatcher is her newest book. It is her first adult debut novel, and it's not in the Shadowhunter universe, which I think up until this point, this is the first book that she's written that's not in the Shadowhunter universe. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong about that. And I don't really remember the synopsis, so let me look that up, but I actually got a copy and I cannot find it right now for the life of me. So I will get that at some point, but I'm very curious about this because it is her first adult debut in the fantasy world, and that's not in the Shadowhunter universe. So I'm very curious to see what else she's going to come up with, because I did like the Infernal Devices, even if I didn't like the other stuff she's written as much. And the little synopsis I found says 2 outcasts find themselves caught in a web of love, forbidden love, dangerous magic, and dark secrets that could change the world forever. This is the start of a riveting epic fantasy series from Cassandra Clare. And one of the characters is an orphan stolen from the life he knew to become the Swordcatcher, which is the body double of a royal heir, Prince Connor. He has been raised alongside the prince, trained in every aspect of combat and statecraft. He and Connor are as close as brothers, but Kel knows that his destiny is to die for Connor. No other future is possible. Basically, you're following Kel, I guess, the orphan, and Prince Connor, and Kel is destined to die for him. Makes sense, even though they're brothers, I guess, or closest brothers. There's a character named Lynn, and she works with physicians, but despite that, she cannot heal her friend without forbidden knowledge. And after a failed assassination attempt brings Lynn and Kel together, they are drawn into a web of the mysterious Rag Picker King, criminal ruler of the underworld. He offers them each what they want most, but as they descend into this world of intrigue and shadow, they discover a conspiracy of corruption that reaches from the darkest gutters to the highest tower of the palaces. They have to ask themselves, is knowledge worth the price of betrayal? So it sounds pretty cool. I'm curious about it, you know. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I wanna know. I wanna know. And then the last book for November will be my shelf pick. So you know the drill, we get our Death Star mug and we shake it all up with all of the books inside and we see what we're gonna read. It's usually my sprayed edges shelves or books that I've gotten in book subscriptions so that I actually read them and they don't just sit on my shelf. Okay. Okay, so I drew A Shadow in the Glass. Let me get it real quick. I believe it's a Cinderella retelling. Okay, so this is The Shadow in the Glass by J.J.A. Harwood. She also did one recently that was like The Thorns Remain or something that I also want to read. But this was what edition was this? This was a Lit Joy Crate edition. I got this in a Lit Joy Crate box that I tried out once. So I believe it is a Cinderella retelling. There's like shoes here and stuff. It says, dare to make a wish. Back it says, everything the black-eyed woman had promised was true. It wasn't a dream. She could have anything she wanted. Leave Granborough House. She would reshape her life into a glorious shining jewel, and all who saw it would envy her. But if the wishes were real, then so was the price she had paid. Her soul was no longer her own. There's a really creepy picture in the front of the novel. That's the black-eyed woman and her. But yeah, so she's trying to escape her stepfather, which seems to be a creep. And one night her wishes are answered in the library that she's not permitted to enter. And at the stroke of midnight, a fairy godmother makes her an offer that will change her life. 7 wishes, hers to make as she pleases. Joy, opportunity, comfort, and even love are within her reach once more. But each wish comes at a price, and Ella must decide whether it's one she's willing to pay, which must be her soul. So yeah, this is a Cinderella retelling. I've been really curious about it for a while, so I'm glad I'm gonna force myself to pick this up because it does sound really good and I'm really interested in reading this author's work. So this one is on deck and I'm very excited. Well, those are all the books that I'm planning on reading in November. I will probably do some book reviews for a lot of those, so my wrap up might be a little bit different that month. But I know I did the Fourth Wing review and I usually do reviews or reading vlogs for Once Upon a Broken Heart, all of those books. So I'll probably do separate reviews for those, do some wrap up thoughts of other things. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I would love to know what you're planning on reading in November or if there's any anticipated releases that you're still looking for, you're still waiting for to happen. Are any of these your most anticipated book of the year? Comment down below and let me know. As for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.